Most people think that I'm doing just great. They say things to me like, wow, Barry, you are handling this so well. And the truth is that I have no idea how I'm handling it. I don't know if I'm handling it well. I'm really working hard. I'm pushing. But handling it well, I don't know. I haven't had too many choices throughout all of this. And so being upset or sad or angry or bitter, it all just seems like a bit of a waste. I mean, I am all of those things, or I've experienced all of those things. But it doesn't do me, it doesn't advance anything. It doesn't, to sit in that is just a waste of time. This ride is, this is the first real ride that I've been on since all of this happened. It's nothing special, but it's a ride that I just got out, got on my bike, and just started pedaling. And it's been, geez, almost 2 years now since I was able to do this. And man, it was hot, and for some reason I couldn't get the motivation to get up and out until it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I don't know, I'm born and raised in Phoenix, and the hot weather doesn't usually bother me. Coming up here, you can see one of the favorite things that all cyclists like. Although I'm not quite sure I can see it, but on the right hand side here, this radar sign to encourage people to slow down. I think before all this, I was able to get to 29 miles per hour that I could tell on one of those machines anyways. In any case, it was about here that I decided that I wanted to go give Oso's a try. The last time I was at Oso's was a few years back, but if I remember right, they're very bicycle friendly up there. So you're gonna see, I'm gonna take you through, this is 16th Street coming up here. I'll stop at my neighborhood, Circle K, and get a little caffeine in me before I continue on. But you're gonna see a lot of Phoenix that unfortunately is, well, I don't know if it's unfortunately or not. One of the things about Phoenix is that you could have 2-3 blocks of really gorgeous houses, and then across the street it's like the slums. And it's really strange how this is. I mean, you have some nice neighborhoods and you have some crappy neighborhoods, but all over Phoenix you have this hodgepodge where you cross a street, you go through an intersection, and all of a sudden it looks like you're in the hood. And then you cross another street and you're looking at $1 million homes. It's kind of crazy, the crazy part of Phoenix. But I'm saying all that because we're going to go through some spots here that I don't know. There's just a couple of spots here that some people might be uncomfortable to travel through. One nice thing about this ride is that I was able to maintain pretty good speed the whole time. And one of the things that's been odd about all of this is, in my head, I kept telling myself, well, if I can just get my prosthetic so that I can be upright and move around, then I'll be okay. And this whole
The
process,
thing about this route that I'm about to take, I don't expect, there's a couple of spots where it gets kind of sketchy. You don't want to puncture your tire here because it's just as likely to come from a hypodermic syringe as it would a nail or thorn or anything else. It's one of the weird traits about Phoenix, and I don't know if it's because of the grid-like nature of our city's layout, but you have nice neighborhoods and slums separated by a street sometimes. It's really bizarre. And I don't think I see too much of it on this route, but there's one or two spots. The night before there was pretty heavy rain, if I remember right. Some thunder and whatnot, so I'm not expecting. I think I even find a couple of downed trees. It seems to be the number one natural disaster in Phoenix is the all the debris that gets blown around from the windstorms and the monsoons. I've been thinking about this video for a while, and I think one of the things that I wanted to try and explain, and I'm not sure I'll be able to do it, but I seem to be living in a paradigm that most people don't understand. And that in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Most people don't really need to understand what cycling is as an adult. But it seems like the most common idea that people have about cycling comes from the idea that we all share as little kids. And I don't know what it is about American culture, and I'm not saying I'm innocent of it. I feel it as well, but there's something about cycling that just seems like that's for kids. And those of us adults that choose to cycle as a as our main mode of transportation seem a bit odd to everyone else. And I get it. And I'm thinking about this video and I'm thinking about the explanation I'm wanting to give, and I'm terrified of using the word lifestyle, the cycling lifestyle. Oh, I want to shoot myself in the head if I say something like stupid like that. Cycling very much um, dictates elements about my lifestyle, um, but I like it. Um, I'm not going to produce a video like this and try to convince people that, oh, I love the annoying parts about cycling. I don't. There are days that I do not want to get up, drag my bike downstairs, and ride into work. Anything I do on my bike. And some days I just wish I could go plop myself into the car like I used to do. And I had an interesting experience with that. A friend of mine was getting married, and she and her husband had this car that they didn't use, and the wedding was going to be in Tempe. So they basically gave me the car. The idea is that I would drive it for the weekend so I could get to and from um, the rehearsal and whatnot in Tempe. And then after the wedding was over, they said, you know what, just hang on to it for a while. And I didn't like it. I found myself using it in place of the bike. I took the car everywhere. It made me more late for things. It made me buy more groceries because I had a huge trunk that I could fill up from the grocery store. I just slowly felt myself settling back in to this lifestyle that, um, honestly, when I think about it now, it makes me feel anxious. Um, I mean, the first thought of driving a car for me is sitting in traffic. Maybe I drove more than the average person, but the hours and hours of sitting in traffic with the bad posture and the back pain, and yeah, even though I'm covering a lot of miles in this car, I'm still just sitting there in that car. The car's moving fast, I'm just sitting there, trapped. And I don't know, that's the first thing I think of when I think about a car is the claustrophobia and the bills. I mean, how long can you really enjoy a new car until you get that first scratch, the first dent? How about the first accident? It's not your fault, but still, now you've got this screwed up quarter panel and the gas and the maintenance and the new tires. Oh, the new tires drive me crazy. I think I've only enjoyed two cars in my life, and one of them was a 1979 GMC pickup with zebra stripes painted on it, uh, and the other one was the last car that I owned, and I think I enjoyed it for about 6 months before it became just another money trap that I was constantly getting worked on, I was constantly sending to the mechanic, and sitting behind that wheel, getting fatter. Ugh, sorry. So you can see my attitude about driving is just not the greatest. Now, on the other hand, a year or so ago, my boss and I were reviewing some surveillance footage, and I was in the footage itself. The camera was behind me, and I just remember seeing myself and seeing the way I moved and realizing that this is the first time I had seen myself since I lost about 50 pounds. And damn, I look good. It wasn't that I looked good, it was just, it's like the way I moved. The way, yeah, it was the way I moved. The fact that I was thinner, it looked like from behind, it looked like I was a much younger man, and it looked like I had energy. And that's what I think of when I ponder that question, why do I ride? It's because cycling, it's made me younger. It's it, it's it feeds my mind. There's something about sharing a road with other vehicles when you're on two wheels that keeps you nimble. It keeps your mind activated. You're not fucking around when you're doing that. You're focused when you're cycling and sharing the road with cars. And it's the same with motorcycles. I think if I were to ever operate a motor vehicle again, it would be a motorcycle before a car, just for that reason. It, the act of driving when you're fully engaged is enjoyable to me. The act of driving when you're sitting there trying to stay awake, when you can control this 1 ton box of steel and carbon with a combustion engine, you can literally steer it with your pinky and fall asleep. It's like, I'm not saying it's got to be a roller coaster, but the, that's kind of the difference for me. When I'm riding, I'm engaged and I'm awake when I get where I'm going.
And when I'm driving, I think driving just gives me more of an opportunity to meditate on nothing helpful. There's something else about about cycling that um, I think, especially as adults, we all have put cycling into this box, and that box is usually something that was defined by our experiences as kids. And it's hard for us as adults who've been driving since we were 16 to even think about cycling as a viable option for getting around, let alone your only option for getting around. And it's always made me feel uncomfortable because people, if you ask people about themselves, personal questions or whatnot, none of them say, "Yeah, well, I'm so and so, and I work here, and I drive a car." But it's almost necessary for me when I'm talking about myself or answering personal questions that not only do I have to say I'm a cyclist, but I need to have some sort of an answer or an explanation as to why. And I get it in Phoenix. It's so hot that people rightfully think that anybody who cycles exclusively in Phoenix during weather like this, there's got to be something a little wrong with them. And I'm not saying they're wrong, but the irony is that I rode bikes when I was a kid, like every kid. My mom used to. I can't remember what reason it was that we would periodically go to the city dump. I think it was had something to do with church. And while my mom and the people from the church were dumping all the nonsense that they had accumulated for this project they were working on, I was walking around fishing out bikes that people had thrown away. And they were free. And I'd bring them home and I would Frankenstein together these bicycles that I'd end up giving away to kids in the neighborhood. And then when I was 16, I got a driver's license and I never rode a bike again. Not until years later. It's in my late 20s, and somebody had given me a bike for my birthday. And I thought I was going to ride this thing home from work. And it was the first time that people started selling, you could buy a mountain type style bike at Walmart or Target or wherever they got this bike from. And I just could not believe how hard it was to ride. Because as a kid, you don't pay attention to things like your tires. They either have air or they don't. Well, these tires were the aggressive knobby mountain bike style tires, which stick to the road. And I remember trying to ride that thing home from work one night and just absolutely miserable. I think I ended up, I can't remember if I made it home by myself or if somebody had to come get me. But so here is where I'm leaving the street and getting onto a bike path. And it's at the end of this path that I hit Osos. And this is during the World Cup. I think this is the day that Argentina and England played. And by the way, my battery died before I could get home on this. So it's going to cut out at a certain point. But what I wanted to do before this video ends, because I'm not going to yap through the whole thing, but there's a piece of music that I rediscovered all these years later. And turns out I was able to get some licensing for it. So I'm going to play this video out with that music because it's been on my mind a lot. And my whole point in showing in putting this video up is to let those of you that have supported me give you an idea of how I'm doing. Terrible at writing posts, and when I talk I seem to ramble on and on and on, so I don't know if that's going to do it, but at least I could show you here. I did this ride one day, and at least give you an idea. I'm not doing, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you look at me on the outside, I'm back at work 8 hours a day, and I'm riding, I'm doing great. And I don't want to take away from that. I've accomplished a lot. But I also didn't expect how long it would take for me to get to somewhere close to 100%. I kind of assumed that as soon as I could be upright, I'd be close to 100%. But, I got half of my body that hasn't been used for 2 years. And simple things like walking up a flight of stairs I'm just now uh, starting to be able to walk up my stairs um, with less and less effort. Now, that's the thing. These last few months, I've been climbing those stairs, carrying a bike up and down every day. Um, so, yeah, I think I've been a little impatient. And I'm having to adjust my expectations. But overall, I'm moving forward. Uh, I've got some exciting things coming up, and I've got reason to be hopeful. I have reason to be positive. And I just wish I was better at communicating with all of you than I have been. And I'm halfway kind of hoping that I can do these videos from time to time, and that will do the trick. It will keep us connected for a while. If not, let me know. Emails are good. Text messages are good. Comments are good. I'd like to hear from you all. Well, I think that's about it for my yapping. I can't make just blabbing any more interesting. Um, you're just gonna have to lock into the rest of the video. I will do this though before the video ends and the battery dies. I'm gonna play that song that I was telling you about. It's uh, it's one of those songs that I don't know how many people would think it's good. It's an old song, but it it helps. It lifts my spirits a little bit to hear it, and I think it's appropriate. Although there is a part over here trying to go uphill, and at the top of the hill is a bunch of sand, and you hear, I think I said something like, "This sucks with one leg." But yeah, I think I'm done yapping. I'll just let you watch the rest of my ride.
sucks with lawnmower. Declare yourself an unsafe building. Suffer the indignation of your world. To climb the ladders, you've got to suss out this mix. Remember your heights, remember to never look down. For now, you've made your choice. You've got to take a chance, find a way out now. Oh, I have declared myself unsafe. I have declared myself unsafe. Come at